folks, welcome to Myers Metal Detectors, located in sunny Tampa, Florida, where we sell nothing but fun and adventures, treasure hunting gear, and anything you can imagine for metal detecting. Give us a call, 813-237-1939. Happy hunting and dig deeper.
Live from sunny Florida, it's Treasure Talk.
Welcome, folks.
Welcome indeed. Welcome indeed.
Welcome to another exciting edition of Treasure Talk. And boy, it feels good getting back in the chair from being gone a week, doesn't it, Jeff?
Yeah. Just feels good just to be sitting down.
You work too hard, my friend.
I know.
Good.
It's been a trial this last few days.
Yes,
and
I'm in a good.
Continue. So
I'm in a good mood because I just had a barbecue dinner, and luckily the camera's low, so they can't see where it got all over me. But the camera's high. It's high. All righty. All righty. Well, we got an exciting show tonight with two excellent guests, Terry and Fred's Excellent Adventure. So I guess I better get started. I do want to remind folks that in the shop, and we'll give away one on the show tonight, we got our 2025 calendar. I can't believe that. 2024, we're in September now, so it's time to get your calendar. So any order we ship out, that's going to be in the box for sure. 2025 calendar. And what else I got going on here, shop? Oh, Minelab's got, I guess, I got to put it in front of the right calendar. Limited time offer on the Expedition Pack and the Elite, Xterra Elite and Xterra Elite Expedition Pack. You can fill out your warranty and online, and they'll send you a Profine 15 or a Profine 35 if you buy the Expedition Pack. That's a pretty good deal, to buy the detector in here and then do the paperwork, and you'll get that. And I would say get the Expedition Pack. I know it's a little more, but that Profine 35 is a good pinpointer. So it's got some cool features.
And also, in about 3 weeks or so, isn't it 3 weeks that you're going to have Minelab Days?
Yes, Minelab Days in the shop. That's going to be Saturday, October 5th, and then it'll probably start at noon and go on until it goes on. And I'm sure Debbie's going to have a lot of stuff. We're going to have some giveaways, some cool stuff. I'll be posting that in the next few days on the Facebook page and on Treasure Talk also. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So have you done all the intros and all that kind of good stuff?
The intros.
Yeah, I lost track of the housekeeping. I'm about basically.
Oh, no. Oh, you're asleep? Okay. Well, of course, today's show is brought to you by your friends at Myers Metal Detectors, where we sell fun and adventure. And it is a fun hobby. You got to admit that. Oh, I got one other thing to talk about. I better write it down or I will forget. Also, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed here by the Treasure Talk guests and members belong solely to the guests and members, not necessarily Phil Myers, Jocelyn Myers, Myers Metal Detectors, or Jeff Monin.
True.
And if I'm talking a little fast, it's because I just had I had 2 Diet Cokes. So I'm all jacked up on caffeine.
And plus, he's like a Pollock. He's got barbecue sauce paint all over his front. So
yes, so nobody can see that. But yeah, the caffeine will do that to you. If it was Mountain Dew, I'd be even more jacked up. And of course, the purpose of Treasure Talk is to promote the hobby of metal detecting and treasure hunting in all forms, and to educate our members in a fun, informative manner.
Yes, indeed.
And I got one. Go ahead, Jeff.
What were you going to say?
I said I got one more thing to add, but you go first.
Go ahead, add it, then I'll do my thing.
Okay. And I'm talking to the members on here. And what I'm trying to tell you guys is when you're out there hunting and you make a long trip, I've had to save, I think it was 3 people this past week who had problems with their detector. Bring more than one scoop, bring more than one detector, more than one set of headphones, and more than one coil for sure. if you're making a long trip, you don't want to have your day ruined. Can you imagine driving from, Ocala or, in the middle of the state to the beach and then your headphones are broke? It just
And
would
you know what
ruin
you
your
do in a
day.
situation like that? You go to Myers Metal Detectors because Phil's got them in stock, and you buy
Yeah,
yourself another
yes.
pair
But the
or
best
another
thing to do
detector
is,
or a coil or the Treasure Talk Pro Sifter titanium with the Myers Pro handle.
yes, get a backup ahead of time so your day's not ruined. Because let's face it, we only have so many minutes in a day. And if you're spending it looking for a backup, where if you already have that in your truck or your car, it'll save you the time. You'll have a better day of hunting knowing you got something back in the truck. If something fails on you, you got it. Okay, that was all I had to say, Jeff.
Okay, good. Now, tonight we're giving away, Terry Shannon, everybody's favorite, has got a new book coming out. We're going to give away one of those. He's giving away two books. You can have his new book or any of his books. We're going to give away two books of Terry's, and Fred's going to give away a book. Fred Benke, he's got some really great books as well. So we're doing great on the giveaways tonight.
Sweet.
And you can use them, and Phil will have them all in stock. Don't worry about it for stocking stuffers because, like it or not, Christmas is coming, and now's the time to get your stocking stuffers. Phil's got tons of stocking stuffers. AccuPoints, Profines, Garrett carrots. Those slip in the stocking very well. Deus is coming out with a 9x5 coil that'll slip in a stocking. Coil Tech coil slip in the stocking. All kinds of stuff. Treasure Tech gooseneck, carbon fiber lower shafts fit in a nice. Myers
It'll fit
Pro
in there.
travel handle will fit in a stocking, whatever. We got it covered. So
Yes, we
we'll
can
say
make
that.
it. I was going to say, Jeff, we can make it fit in the stocking for sure.
That's
And
right. We'll get a pair of pantyhose and cut one leg off. It'll fit in there. We can
yes,
make it fit.
yes, I can't believe we're talking about fitting in the stocking Christmas already because it's been
Well, we better
it's
because
been warm. It's
it's going
been
to
warm
be
here.
yeah.
So, but
And
yeah, we can for sure do that.
well, like the Digging Canuck says, all she wants for Christmas is a gray ghost pouch. Well, it depends on just how good you are.
And uh, Jim at Bighorns asked me, am I going to be carrying the NOC Finex Pro? Absolutely. That's a good detector. I will probably won't have like a huge inventory of those because they are single frequency, but they are waterproof. So, it's amazing the detectors that are out today. They're all waterproof. Even the multi-frequency, the score, the double score, the triple score, the elite, those are all multi-frequencies, so somebody can get into the hobby with a really good detector. For us here in Florida, it's more important than somebody out in the center of the country to have that multi-frequency because it handles the salt water so well. So yes, we'll have the Find X Pro in stock too. That was something that Naka did just to do on the internet, and a lot of the companies have done this. They'll have a separate product they do on Amazon, I should say, because there's so many detectors on Amazon. They're absolute junk that, and that's putting it mildly, that don't really function properly, and people buy those and think this hobby, is bad. And if you have a good product like the Find X Pro or the other manufacturers who put something out on Amazon, people don't get their hobby ruined by a cheap piece of Chinese junk. And I'll just
That's
say
right.
that.
And always remember, you get what you pay for,
Yeah.
service wise as well. So do
Yes.
yourself a favor. Do yourself a big favor. Buy from Phil. You'll get a calendar. You'll get a coveted
Treasure Talk Towel.
towel. You'll get one of these and a calendar. And if you're really good, you might get a Zazich from Big Poppy.
Yeah, Big Poppy might put, and he might do some artwork on it too. You just never know.
Well,
All right.
there's no doubt. There's no
Yeah,
doubt.
depends on what kind of mood
Uh,
he's at.
yeah, well, he's always in a mood, so that depends. The artwork depends on his mood. So anyway,
Yes.
we better get our guests on here.
Yes.
We're yammering like a couple of macaws.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah, 'cause-
we got two great ones tonight.
yes, we do.
Ah,
Yeah, we've been talking too much, Jeff, because I've had some extra words since I'm not doing the show. We didn't do the show last week, so that's why we've been talking too much. So I only have a limited number of words, so I'm just getting caught up. Anyway, these
Yes,
two guys
indeed.
are my favorites. So absolutely.
And y'all have seen them before. You'll see them again because we got a special show lined up after the first of the year on sapphire mining. You're going to love that. So anyway, these guys, we titled the show Terry and Fred's Excellent Adventure. Now, Fred, who lives down South Florida, in near Sebastian, that area, Vero, all that, Melbourne, traveled excellent adventure all the way up into Montana, and he's now in Frazee, Minnesota with Terry. And Jean is not going to be on camera because she's having to drink heavily because he's at Terry's house. So let's get these two on here and find out about that excellent adventure. Hello, guys,
Hi there. Hey,
Welcome.
and tell Jean we feel her pain.
you know, I tell everybody that Gene married well, but then just the opposite is really true.
Oh, we know, Terry, for sure. So the title of the show is Terry and Fred's Excellent Adventure. Let's talk about that a little bit. What have you guys been up to?
Well, I went out. Fred has been on vacation for 40 days, you know, up in Montana and several other places. He'll tell you about it. But I went out for a 3-day hunt with him out in Montana and on the border there. And then he been here about 4 days now.
4 days in.
And we've been having a ball out on the cellar holes. We did hit the Otter Tail River today. And it's just been fun. You know, we've had a good time together.
And we did the river too.
Yeah, the river.
Well, awesome. So what kind? Oh, we got a question already from Rick T. I want to come up and work with y'all one day. That's a comment. So that's kind of cool.
I tell you, we had fun, and we actually did pretty well. We really did. The river wasn't very good, but the cellar holes, we did pretty good.
Show them the stuff you.
Yeah, let's see some stuff. I always like looking
Here,
at the artifacts.
this is a powder flask.
Powder flask.
Yeah. And, you know, I've never found one of these before. I have never heard of anybody else finding them. So it's a pretty rare find. But it's a powder flask, and that, you know, that goes way back for the black powder and that. That's missing the top. And Fred and I went out trying to look for that today, and I'm going to go back and spend some time doing it. It's a good excuse to get back out there.
Yeah, that top is round and circular. So that should be an easy find if it's there, depending on how deep it is. But even with your detector, even if it's 1.5 feet, I think you probably hit on it because it's a good chunk of brass, I believe.
Yeah, nothing is an easy find at these cellar holes. There is so much garbage, cans, aqua tins, and that stuff.
Just trash
You
everywhere.
know, so what you do is when you swing, a lot of times as you're swinging, you'll get 2 or 3 signals. And what you got to do is zero in on the high signals or the ones that don't jump. So like if it comes in at a 41, stays at 41, you dig it. But if it goes to 41, jump to 36, you know, and back to 44, and, you know, that's junk. And you just don't dig it.
A little different than the Treasure Coast, huh?
In the Treasure Coast, you dig everything.
You dig it all. So you got to use a little discrimination where you're at there for sure.
Okay. Well, today, look at the buckle that Fred found. I mean, that is an ornate a buckle. You know, I got a buckle too, but it isn't half the buckle that this thing is. And I don't know if anybody's got, I think it's silver plate, probably with brass or bronze and that stuff. But what would that be used for? You know, it wouldn't be a shoe buckle, I wouldn't think, but it's heavy. It's quite heavy.
I would think maybe something to do with horse or something like that. Some horse tack. I don't know.
Not this fancy. I got a whole bunch of buckles from the horse tack and stuff like that, and I've never seen one like this. So it might have been on like a lady's sash or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
we're finding some jewelry back there. And he got an old thing today that's very ornate in the back, you know, very, you know, I don't know if you can see it, you know. And I believe that probably at one time it's a brooch. A stone is missing and that stuff, but it was a piece of jewelry. And then I told him that my goal out there was to find gold. You know, I wanted a gold, you know, coin. And I no sooner talked to, and Fred digs up this gold button.
It's gold-plated button, and I had gold on my mind because he was talking gold coins from the 1800s and people losing them, and it was a thrill of a lifetime to see that gold come out of there.
And he
It's not a
hollered.
coin.
In fact, he actually I jumped a little bit. I had the headphones. I still heard him holler. And last
Yeah.
thing he got today is he got a very ornate silver-plated spoon. You know these. I get a bunch of spoons for them. Say, you know, every one I've got is just, you know, really, really cheap and that stuff. And you know, so Fred did pretty good today. He really did.
Yeah, so did you date the site? How old do you think the site is?
I think the site's. I think the oldest coin I got was in the mid 1880s. You know, I got one
Okay.
Indian had it. The one we hunted at today. Fred said he found a round nail, but all the nails you find are the old iron square
Square nails.
nails. You know, and he did find this thing, which we don't know. We think it might be silver. It's just plain. It's heavy. You can't bend it. Don't think it's lead. And this is going to be kind of a mystery to track.
It weighs 14.3 grams, and it's larger than a quarter and smaller than a $50.
Does
I
it,
think-
does it have some design on it?
No,
It doesn't appear to, you know, but remember when I found those two 1,500 coins? You know, the one 1,500 coin I found was just gorgeous. You know, it was 1544. And the other one, and the 1544 was a 2 real. And the other one was a 4 real. And it took Steve Hodges about a year to bring out some detail, but it was definitely another, you know, coin. So it may be a coin, it may not. It's just one of those things when you go out there, you get excited.
Well, it could have
Yeah.
been something decorative, and it could very well be silver. You know,
Yeah, I figured it
It's-
could be a coin that somebody took and was trying to make a love token with it.
That
Yeah.
could very, very well be.
it looks like it's been just melted down. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
But see, most of these cellar holes are just a hole in the ground, you know, and they didn't live in the cellar holes. That's where they kept their you know, the meat and the vegetables and this, so try to keep it cool. And where we're detecting, we're right by some water, and you know, several holes where they'll harvest ice, you know, and then try to store the ice and that stuff. But they actually, you know, a lot of times will build two little, you know, one house for the living, and then they build a smaller one nearby in case theirs burned down. I mean, Minnesota in the wintertime is pretty remote, you know, and I started telling you this story because I had a real profound thing to tell you, and I just lost it.
I
So,
do that all the time.
I know it.
Should we show them stuff from the fort?
Yeah, I was up, and here's what I found. Some of what I found. I don't want to tip it too much. There's about 200 bullets in there, or over 200 bullets. Civil War bullets, or Indian War
that's
bullets.
just your share, Terry.
It's mine, and that's not including the casings. I didn't bring the casings in because I haven't done anything, and they're full of dirt.
And he was only there 2.5 days.
Yeah, and the
Well, how
one
many
day,
did you find, Fred?
Well, I haven't even counted mine. I've got a bucket full in my truck.
he did equally as well as I did. I think I may have beat him by about 2 bullets.
I doubt it. But Terry didn't get one of these.
Yeah, now that's nice, Brad.
That's from the ammunition pouch. So it's a plate box.
Oh.
It's a box
Box
plate,
plate,
is what they call it. Yeah, box plate. But they used the same mold to make the belt buckle. And
Right.
the only difference is the backside
Of
filled
how
with
it's
lead
melted.
and it's
Right.
got the attachment points
Yeah.
there. So I think these
Yeah,
are
that's
more. I think that's more rare than a buckle because they were so heavy that the soldiers would get rid of them because they just made the pouch weigh so much.
Yeah,
That's a
well, that's
cool
a great find, let me tell you.
And then this is half of a hat pin here, and you can see the cavalry swords.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's broken. This is a bugle mouthpiece.
Oh yeah, I saw that on Facebook. That's really cool.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Bugle mouthpiece. Two years ago, I found a epaulette that goes on the shoulder, and that's made of brass. This year, I found all of the remaining pieces I needed to go with that epaulette,
Oh, nice.
and this like scales out and goes across the shoulder there.
Right.
Found a decorative spoon there. Just a ton of cartridges, bullets. Found some eagle buttons. I usually find those. A toe tapper. Several musket balls. I enjoy finding the musket balls just as well, even more than the bullets, because they're rarer to find around that fort. The musket balls. And then a grape shot.
Oh, that's cool.
And a pocket knife, and yeah, I mean, I usually find the eagle buttons, just tons of bullets, few musket balls. I enjoy finding the buttons and stuff, and just the different unique things, and finding that box plate this year was just it was just crazy good. It was phenomenal.
Cool.
You got
Now-
a question from we got a question
Go ahead, Jeff.
from Double G Diggs. He says, "Do you guys ever found a carved bullet?"
A carved bullet. We've found.
Yep.
Last year I found a bullet that had been flattened, and it had F.OW. on it, and it had a hole drilled through it. And I did a little bit of research, and it was WOF, and it was Warriors of Faith. And in the same, it was like underneath the floor of a building, and all of the wood was rotten and everything in the building. And in that same area, I found a religious Virgin Mary thing from 1880 or whatever. No, 1830. The date on those.
Well, cool.
Those, as far as bullets, a cartridge, I found one with 4 holes punched in it, and I believe the Indians used to wear those.
Yeah, like a dangler or something.
Yeah.
Hey, Fred, the bullets that Terry had, a whole tray of those. They look kind of like a 3-ringer. What gun would shoot those?
Well, the majority of them were the 4570 bullet, and John Hawkins. I met him, and he's now a friend of mine, and up in Helena, Montana, and he gave me this bullet. I actually bought a rifle that fires those bullets. So it's a Springfield 1873, and John was kind enough to give me one of these bullets that he rebuilt, put back together, and it's just a beautiful specimen. And that's going to go with my rifle that I have at home.
Okay. And then we had a question from Luis Villarreal real quick, if I can find that one. And I lost
I'll
it.
put it up there. I got it.
There we go.
There you go.
Terry and Fred, what's a ratio of fired to unfired Civil War bullets you found? Or Indian War bullets, for that matter?
I only got 3 unfired this year, and I got maybe 200 that were fired.
Yeah, I got about 3, but I've got a whole bunch at home that are unfired. And what we do is we trace through the field, and we can find dud bullets, and we can find unfired bullets where they were keeping off the Indians. They would be yeah, throwing down the dud bullets and then dropping. Probably they were nervous and everything, and they'll be dropping the unfired ones.
Let me show you this. This is what I found last year. And the story behind this is we were out in a field, and the field is kind of like a very huge football field, long and narrow. And every bullet we found on the east side of the field was shot by the Indians at the soldiers. And every shell casing we found was shot by the soldiers at the natives. And then we went to the other end of the field and just the opposite to them. Every bullet we found was shot at them by the soldiers, at the Indians, and I kept them separate, and every shell casing was fired by the Indians at the soldiers. And you could actually get in this field and you could follow a line of bullets, as they were advancing, they were shooting, and of course the bullets were right there. And if you got on the line, you stayed on the line, you just dug steady, and every once in a while you get a spot where they stopped and there's a whole bunch of pistol shells. So they emptied their pistol.
Yeah, I found last year. I found six pistol cartridges within a foot area.
Mm.
So that was easy digging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
We got a question for you. It's from John David. He wants to know, Fred, does the pocket knife still have a blade? And what do you think the age of it is?
I did look at this pocket knife, and I found much older ones, but this one is from the 1960s.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
the blades are still in there, but they're rusted. But I did find some much older ones last year while I was hunting there.
Okay. And Fred, again, the fort that you're hunting does it have a name?
Sure does, but we kind of,
Oh, you don't want to give out. Okay, I understand. No
Yeah.
worries. I get it.
Fred was invited by the landowner. That has
Oh, okay.
Right next to and to my knowledge, Fred is the only guy that has permission to get in there until I was invited.
Marcus,
yeah,
okay.
Marcus. And one of the things is these eagle buttons. And I found, I got a couple last year, and I just got the back half this year of one. And we were invited out to one of the landowners or the farmer's place for lunch. And we run into a guy by the name of Marcus. And he's a friend of Fred's. And he'd got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, found 3 eagle buttons and a bunch of other stuff. And when we got to the farmer's place, he was invited there also. The farmer came out and gave me 2 eagle buttons and a shell cartridge as a gift. And Marcus told me, he said he got up early and everything he found was going to go to Terry Shannon. So I got 3 more eagle buttons from him. So I don't need to fight them. People just give them to me. I think I've got this pathetic look down to a science,
Well,
Oh,
Fred,
that's good, Terry. I like that.
This is kind of
Right.
unique. This is a piece of a shield nickel, and it's even got the date on it. I can't remember. It's 18 something. I can't remember the date. But it's a piece of a shield nickel where somebody punched a hole in the nickel and broke the nickel.
It looks like it. You had something, Jeff?
no.
It looks like that one with that nickels. Maybe somebody was using it for target practice.
It would be a really small bullet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'd be a really tiny, small bullet.
Well, it looks like Bill Crow had a good question here. How do you tell what the Indians fired compared to the soldiers fired?
Right, it's into the field. See, the history let us know that the Indians were on the west side of the field, and the fort was on the east side. And so they went across, and the soldiers went across to wipe out these Indians. So everything that we found on the east side was shot by the soldiers at the Indians. And every bullet we found, just the actual bullet itself, was found was shot by the Indians at the soldiers. And then just the opposite, when we went to the other end of the field, just the opposite is true. Every shell casing we found was fired by the Indians at the soldiers.
So we're finding a lot of cartridges, and incoming bullets were amongst those cartridges.
Jeez. Now, were the fire using the same weapons?
No, mostly 45-70, but
So what were the Indians using?
Some of them were similar, but I'm not sure of the actual caliber and stuff of the bullets.
I had some different ones here.
Yeah. But you got yours separated.
And then here we got another question from Louis Villarreal. Have you ever found a bayonet in the battlefield?
I have not found a bayonet. I don't know anybody who has. There was a guy just this last week found a trigger guard, but we've never found a bayonet in there.
Would the 4570 have a bayonet?
Yeah, they have they actually have a bayonet that goes on there, and they also have a thing like a shovel for digging trenches
Oh, okay.
for rifle pits.
Yeah, it fits right on the end of the rifle like a bayonet, but they can use it as a shovel.
Oh, interesting.
It looks like a mason's trowel is what it looks like. But
Okay, cool.
and then I brought up John Hawkins, and John Hawkins is just an expert on all of this Indian War relics and artifacts and stuff. He's got an amazing collection. He lives in Helena, and he does restoration. He's restoring a sword belt buckle right now, and just an incredible guy with incredible knowledge and collection and everything. While I was in Helena traveling, one of my things I wanted to do is visit a sapphire mine. So I went to the Spokane sapphire mine, and I was able to get some sapphires. And in one of these tubes, in this tube right here, these are just some of the sapphires. These are the sapphires I found. These are sapphires that I found, but I also found some that could be faceted and which must be gem quality and can be faceted. So I'm going to get some of that done with this group right here. And I also shipped some of the bags of gravel home with me.
Interesting.
Okay, cool. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do a giveaway? We're going to give away a Fred book and a Terry book. And then a little later, before we go for the night, we'll do it again. Is that good for you guys?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, we'll do that right now. This is what
This
is
book,
what you
I
put
have it.
in.
It's going to be published, this week. Hopefully.
Yeah, and that we're giving away. We have two winners on this. One for a Fred book of your choice. One for a Terry book of your choice. Like Terry said, he's got a new book coming out. It's not released yet, but it's coming out within, I'd say, 2 weeks. So if that's the one you choose, whatever one you want. So just get entered, and I'm going to bring them back on. We'll talk a little bit, and then we'll do a giveaway.
You know, there was a question, guys, on here, and I forgot who wrote it. It was about the arrowheads. Have you guys found?
Tim Anderson.
Yeah, have you found any arrowheads?
I haven't found any at the fort at all. One guy found in that time period they used steel arrowheads, not stone arrowheads.
Yeah, so that at that time they did the steel, so they were past the stone because I guess they figured they're fighting soldiers with ammunition and bullets and rifles. They need to be doing the same. So I guess you wouldn't find the stone artifacts.
I got a couple last year fell in the river down here.
Okay. Uh-oh, did I lose somebody?
No, not that I'm aware of.
I think they froze up.
Who did?
Terry and Fred.
Yes.
Yes.
They'll unfreeze here in a minute.
Okay. Yeah,
Let's
so
see, they'll be back in a second. They'll unfreeze.
yeah,
Must
they'll-
be internet. So why don't we just go ahead and do the giveaway right now?
yeah, do it now, Jeff. That's perfect.
Okay. Bajira 2021. You know the drill.
Bacteria 2021, you're the winner.
Yeah, that's a winner number one. Winner number two is coming up. So let's go do that again. Let's log in. Philip Faircloth. So what you guys do, you got to choose if you want Fred's book or Terry's book. Well, Philip Faircloth, you get a Fred book. Nigeria, you get a Terry book. Choose the book that you want and name, address, and phone number. And I will pop that up here real quickly. So let me pop up the email address. I think this is it.
There we go.
At gmail.com. Name, address, phone number, and Philip Faircloth, what Fred book you want. Nigeria, what Terry book you want. Okay, and we'll get that. We're going to do it all again soon in a few minutes. So don't go nowhere.
Okay, Fred, you guys back?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We lost you for a few seconds, so perfect time to do the giveaway. So, Terry, you said you found a couple arrowheads in the river?
Yeah, they come up, when one was with a quarter and the other one, I don't even remember. But I just didn't see them. They just come up in my scoop. So,
Oh, okay. So you were just metal detecting and you got lucky and got an arrowhead. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
I had
You
such
found some artifacts too, haven't you, Fred?
some.
artifacts.
Indian
Oh.
artifacts, I think,
Oh,
haven't you?
yeah, I find Indian pottery where I live.
Okay.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
up there on your trip, haven't
Oh,
you
yeah.
found a bunch of Indian stuff too?
No, I haven't found any Indian stuff on my trip. No.
Okay.
I've been down to Fred's
Got a
and
question.
picked up a bunch of pottery at his place too.
Philip, you want to take this? You're the guru.
I'm the guru. So there you go. So what machines are you guys using for, I guess, for both the fort site and for hunting in the rivers and for over on the Treasure Coast? You guys could
And
just
that
elaborate.
comes from Dirty Paws Detective.
Okay.
Yes.
When I went out to Montana, I took my Deus 2 as a backup, but I used a Legend and with a small coil. And that's a heck of a machine. I mean, if you don't have one, get one.
I did the same thing. I've used the Legend 2 years in a row out there at the fort. I was using the Equinox 800 before, and I changed up to the Legend, and it's just a fantastic machine for sorting out the tin and the scrap metal and the square nails. It just does a great job, and it did a great job in the woods the last few days too.
There's so much garbage. Honest to guys, you'd think that they throw all their garbage in one spot, but it's just the whole area is covered. And that small coil, if you get a larger coil, you're going to mass some good targets, because of the garbage out there.
Yeah, I think it's a relic and coin hunting is so much easier with a small coil. They still go plenty deep. And were at the fort site, was it on farm fields or just open pasture?
Farm fields. So the 6-inch coil fits nice right between the rows of wheat.
Okay,
So
cool.
you're not beating on the wheat all the time and getting noises and stuff.
Okay. And now how about down on the Treasure Coast? What are you guys using there? What size coil?
I use a Deus 2, and I use my backup as a Legend. I mean, the Legend handles it real well, but I don't use a large coil. I'm using the probably what is it, 9 or 11-inch coil? I think it's probably
9 by 11 or the 9-inch.
The 11 or the 9's a smaller one.
Yeah, then I'm probably using the 9-inch coil, and I'm not covering as much ground, but it forces me to go slower. And the slower I go, the more stuff I find. And I had a situation briefly. We run into an area that was just loaded with these bronze ship's nails, and I was hunting with a friend of mine that had an Equinox 800 with a 15-inch coil, and I had the small coil. And I found, I think, 17 or 18 nails that day, and he didn't get a one. And we're right side by side. I think with the black sand that highly mineralized, that it actually overwhelms that big coil, just picking too much up.
Just to give you an idea with the Legend, with the small coil, this little tiny screw right here. I mean, you can barely see it. It's a little screw made of brass, and I found that probably 10 inches down. And last year I found a 12-pound cannonball 2.5 feet down with a 6-inch coil. So, I mean, on the beaches I use the Legend, and my backup is a Manticore on the beach.
Okay, awesome. And then we had a question real quick from Bill Crow. Are you finding any gold or silver inlaid Indian pottery?
No.
That would be nice. I'd
That
like
would
to
be
see
really
some of that. Yeah, for sure.
You can't
So-
believe the length of my bucket list. It's long.
Now, what tribes, Fred, were basically up in that area? Was it mostly Sioux or Pawnee? What are the basic tribes that you're
Okay.
finding all the bullets and stuff from?
Lakota Sioux would be the main tribe, and then there was some others. Some Mandan moved up there around the fort after they were wiped out by smallpox, I believe, or cholera. I think it was smallpox.
Yeah. Yeah, well, as soon as they, there wasn't that until, the white man started coming in, and then the disease became more rampant. So, but they
But
brought
this-
it from all, from overseas or whatever. So.
The reason I traveled so far this year is I'm writing another book. I've got the one book on the Northern Plains Indian Wars, and this year I'm writing a book on the Nez Perce Trail, and they traveled from, and they were pretty much chased by the military and the government out of Oregon all the way to northern Montana, and they were 40 miles from the Canadian border. They were going to join Sitting Bull up there, and they got in a final battle and surrendered. But I followed the Nez Perce Trail, and it's about 1,400 miles, and I followed it all the way through from Joseph, Oregon, all the way through Idaho, Montana, and all the way through the whole journey. And I even took an inflatable boat so I could get to Cow Island, but that I had that I still packed on my truck, the inflatable boat with an outboard motor.
Yeah. Well, this question is apropos. We were talking a little earlier. It's from Florida Metal Detecting, and he says, "Any of you found a musket powder flask?" I think we were showing one, weren't you, Terry?
Showing it, yes.
That's the flask.
Yeah. And that's a big piece of metal that you would find that pretty deep if it was deep.
It read a 51 and it stayed a 51. The secret on the cellar holes is when you get the number, if it stays the same, I would dig it regardless of what the number is. But it's the ones that jump around and go, the powder flask read a 51, and 51, no matter how I went at it,
Yeah.
So,
Well,
All right,
my
well, I had a-
question would be, Terry, is all those bullets you guys dug, how many gnats were involved during the digging?
I sent out an email. I was out with Fred yesterday, and I just got done with a bout of Lyme disease. I'm not even done with it yet. I got bit by a deer tick, and I was sick almost all summer. So we're out in the woods, and I laid down on the woods. And, there's a lot of leaves out there, which is beautiful, And I laid down, and I looked up, and I couldn't believe how beautiful the trees are when you look at it at that angle. So I took a picture. Then I shut my tired eyes, and the mosquitoes attacked. And there was no doubt in my mind that 3 or 4 more of these, the deer ticks were closing in on me also.
Yeah, mosquitoes sound like being home here in Florida. Hey, we had a comment from Detect Dig Smile. It says, "I wish the Deus 2 had a 6-inch coil." And I think Merle told us that they were coming out with a smaller coil. Isn't that right,
the
Jeff?
9x5 elliptical.
9x5 elliptical.
9x5 elliptical. Yep.
Yeah, so that
That
would
be
make
be a
your
high
day
frequency.
fun. Yeah, high
I will
frequency.
want that one right away. I mean, it just, I really believe strongly in this motor coil. I bought a 15-inch coil for my Equinox and, sold it without even using the darn thing.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of times,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a-
what you're saying with the larger coils, getting overloaded with salt, can't run your sensitivity as high. You got to cut it back a little bit. So how
But
much?
even if there's any trash in the area, a big coil just, you're going to miss so much. But
Yeah.
this Deus 2 coil, it will be the high frequency. It will be white. It'll be high frequency, and it'll be a 9x5 elliptical. And I had one of those for my Deus 1, and that was a killer coil. So that's definitely something you're going to want to add to your arsenal. As soon as Phil gets it in stock, we will let you all know. Because
Okay,
he will stock them.
do that, please.
Because they're going to be in short supply when they come out. So you can
Yeah, you know
bank
that.
on this.
Yes.
That Phil will probably have at least a dozen in stock.
Yeah.
So if you want one, get up with Phil and say, I want one, and he'll call you when they come in.
Right. Yeah, I know that'll be a hot coil because people just love the Deus detector of how light it is. And for relic hunting, it's always nicer to have a smaller coil.
Yeah, you absolutely need a small coil because there's so much. I can't believe the amount of garbage and the amount of good things that they leave. I found several saws. I've got probably conservatively 30 axe heads. I mean, that's back then. That was a pretty expensive piece that they can just lay there.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, I see that question from Florida Metal Detecting. Have either one of you had any problems with wildlife while metal detecting?
Yes.
Where you guys are in Montana, don't they have bears out there? The brown ones?
They have grizzly bears.
All right.
And black bears too. But yeah.
I've got
And
a
they're hungry.
sad story, and it just happened a couple of years ago in the Otter Tail River. I had a spot where I could drive right down to the river, and I parked my truck, and as I got out, a bear had pooped right at the back behind my truck. And I mean, no big deal. So I go detecting, and when I got all done detecting, I took my waders off and stepped right in that poop. And stink, my God, did it stink. And so I tried to wipe off as good as I could, drove to town with all the windows open, rang the doorbell at my house so my wife could open the door down by the shower. And while I was in the shower, it occurred to me that I'm standing, right when I did it, by a river full of water. That was, I could have just hopped in the river and the problem would have been solved.
Yes, for sure. And I saw that comment. Ricky T wants to know when the Mine Lab days are. It's October 5th. And if you guys are in town and want to make the trek across the state, we'd love to have you. But that's on a Saturday morning, October
Okay, why
5th.
don't we do this? Why don't they answer this question from Bill Crow? I'm going to put the thing up again so they can re-register for the giveaway. We're going to give away 2 books, a Fred book and a Terry book. This is not that. That's the winner. It's #adventure, all caps. So that's what you put in.
All righty, and I guess Bill Crow's asking, have you found any knives from the Indian area up there? How about knives or even scrapers or just work tools?
I haven't found any knives at the fort, but last year I did stop at the Knife River Flint Quarry, and there's over I believe it was 6,400 quarries on this one property where the Indians have been going and harvesting flint for about 1,200 years. And I visited the family that owned the Lynch family, and they actually gave me a knife that was made from the flint from their quarry.
Interesting.
Amazing piece of history. Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it is sharp too.
oh yeah, they'll cut you bad. I'm always fascinated. Years ago, the club had a flint knapper in our meeting, and he could make an arrowhead in like minutes. And so the Indians were probably that good. And he used the tools, the deer antler, and different
Yep.
tools the Indians would use. And yes, they made them razor sharp, for sure. So right now, you guys are up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
They're at my place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so you haven't been doing a whole lot of river hunting, or you haven't found much in the river?
Well, I haven't found, I think maybe 2 or 3 rings this year, but I haven't been out much. I was sick the whole summer. I
Okay.
had a terrible summer with that deer tick thing. I had ended up.
You got to make up for it.
Yeah. You know, my
Well,
wife.
maybe we
When you
Come
get down here, you make up for it.
can make up for it for sure.
I was lucky enough on the way up here to stop in Wyoming to do some fossil hunting. It's where you split the rocks and find the fish inside. And
Mhm.
Mhm.
that was a great day. That was a fun day. And then with the sapphire mining, big shout out to Gem King #1. My new nickname is Gem King #2 because I processed eight 5-gallon pails of fine gravel, which you have to dig, put it in a bucket, sieve it twice, and then you take it back to the plant, and then process it, wash it, and pick out the gemstones, the sapphires in it. And there was a younger couple there, and from Arizona, and they did 5 buckets, and I did 8 buckets in the time they did 5 buckets processing it. And that's how I got the name Gem King #2. But Russ up there, he's a champion. He's a wonderful character. He actually gave me 2 sapphires, and I just want to give a shout out to Russ because these are called star sapphires, and they're just beautiful stones.
Oh, that
That's
is
cool.
beautiful.
Well, maybe after the first of the year, Fred, if you can get up with him, maybe you and he do a show on sapphires.
That would be great because he is the man. He's a mountain man. He forges his own knife. He makes his own knives and hatchets and quite
Cool.
the character.
Yeah, and it looks like
Well, that'd
treasure.
be a great show.
Yeah, it's treasure. Isn't it?
Yeah, oh, it is.
I think it is. I think so.
I know
I think
sapphire
so.
treasure.
He's a national treasure himself.
And I
Cool.
think people will be very interested in how to do it because a lot of the people out there, they want to do gold prospecting. We're going to have a show on that next week from Ohio Gold Prospecting, where how you do it and how you can do it and all that kind of stuff. I think it'd be a killer show
Yeah.
for Fred to have this guy on to show you about sapphire mining and gemstones. So we'll get together, Fred, and we'll work on the date.
Yeah, we'll work that out.
Hey, we did have a question from Luis Villarreal, and this is an interesting question because I forgot to ask this. When you're using the legend to find the deep targets, were you using the DT or the beast modes?
No, I wasn't. No,
What
I-
mode do you use?
I just use the 113 update. I tried the beast and everything. I really didn't like it that much on the beach, so I didn't want to change anything because I was doing so well last year up at the fort. So I did not want to change the settings. So I went back to the 113 settings and used that again this year.
And what program? What do you use? The field mode, or what do you use?
Yeah, I use the field mode up there.
Okay, all right, cool. And you, Terry, you do the same?
I do the same. Although, down in Florida, I use the basic beach mode,
Okay.
with both machines. But one thing I do is I usually go to a lot of these hunts, there's where the club sponsored hunts and that type of thing. And I use the beach mode in those hunts because nobody else does, and I never get blanked out by other people. It works well for me.
Let's do our giveaway. We're going to give away 2 people. One's going to be a Fred book. The first one will be a Fred book. The second one will be a Terry book of your choice. So here we go. And around and around and around we go. And it is Richard Pelkey. You won a Fred book of your choice.
Congratulations, Richard.
Congratulations, Ray.
Now, and let's do one for Terry's book.
And Jeff, let's give away a calendar too. What else?
Yeah, everybody's getting the calendars. JBP Hobbyist. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to quickly put this up. Everybody that you got to send your name, address, phone number. JBP, you got a Terry book, and I know you joined late, so Fred or Terry, if you show her the cover of the new book that'll be out in a couple weeks, and who was it that won the? And anyway, I'll go back and look. You got the Fred book. Email, name, address, phone number, and what book that you want.
This new
Fred
book
or
of Terry, this new book of Terry is a fantastic book. It really is. It's Terry through and through when he was a police officer, a sheriff, and a chief of police, and it's got some really great stories in there.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be a really good book. All of Terry's books are good. You can't go wrong with any of them. As with Fred's books, I tell you what, you want some informative books and use it as a study guide and a reference guide. Fred has got some absolutely stunning books, as does Terry, and they're all just, both of them are just fantastic to add to your library. You can't go wrong. So, those that I said won the Fred book, pick out your Fred book, include it in the email, and those that won the Terry book, pick out the Terry book you want, put it in your email. If it's the new one, it's going to take a couple weeks for it to come out, but you will get it. So, Merry Christmas to all, and congratulations.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jeff and Phil, for saying the kind words to about us, and we really feel honored to be on your show.
We really enjoy being on the show.
Yeah, it's always
And we
fun.
got
Go ahead, Jeff.
well, I was going to say it's always fun for us, and you guys are coming up more in the fall. I think both y'all are doing our Christmas show. Our
Sweet.
Christmas show will be live from the Mel Fisher Museum with Nicole, Terry, and Fred. And
Awesome.
we're going to get a tour of the museum, and going to be a bunch of giveaways. So that's going to be a fantastic show. And we've got to book them both back after the first of the year on the Sapphire hunting show. And so there's a lot more coming up. So we're going to work hard to make sure to bring you quality entertainment and education.
Education. That's the most important part of the show.
And
So-
both
Yep.
are honored to be part of this. We really are.
Really are.
And we kind of wish Fizz would still be here. He was such a great guy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's
I
so
miss him. Definitely. Well, guys, thank you for being on here, Terry and Fred, and thank you, Jeff, for all you do, and Jocelyn for helping out here, and to all of our many members. Thank you for signing on here with us and getting to experience two real treasure hunters, for sure.
Yes, indeed. It was
Thank
awesome.
you,
And
everybody.
that was an excellent adventure y'all had. And tell Terry, tell Gene, thank you. And we're looking forward to y'all getting back down here. And Fred, I'll be up with you in a few days, and we'll get this thing rolling for after the first of the year.
Yep, you got it.
Sounds
Okay,
great.
we'll talk about the Pirate Museum as well.
Okay.
Okay. And so thanks, Phil. Thanks, Jocelyn. Jocelyn signed off already, but that's okay. We want to thank everybody for watching. Next week will be Ohio Gold, the gold panning, and that's going to be a killer show. If you have any interest at all in gold panning, we're going to talk all about it, how you can go do it. And then later in the month, we've got, I don't remember that, but I know the end of the month, September 30th, is going to be live from the Pirate Museum in St. Augustine. And I think Fred will be joining us for that one, and it'll be live from that museum. Terry would join us as well, but he won't be back down here yet until not till probably mid-October. But it's going to be some good stuff this coming month, and we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Happy hunting and dig deeper. And always remember, if Phil doesn't have it in stock, you don't need it.
You don't need it for sure. Happy hunting and dig deeper, my friends.
Yeah. Good luck,
See
everyone.
y'all next week.
Take care.